The golden child's laugh echoes a chain of light, Book of Cain. A pocket realm forged by the moon presence cradles a sound no tarnished should hear, a child's laughter suffocating in its purity. Each cycle Gwyn's dream traps an heir to the first flame being never born, yet eternally damned to flicker between realms. Gwyn's slumber, a savior or the final spark to consume what Gwyn sought to preserve. The hunter's dream is no workshop. It is a vault, its gears turning to bind the first child who ever drew breath, a soul Marika never gifted, only buried. The moon presence weeps not for lost stars, but for a cycle forged in stolen cradles. What if the laughter echoing through its halls is not whimsy, but a voice too old to forget? The tarnished do not wake a savior, they rattle a cage. Every tick of the dream's clock measures a stolen age, every shadow a debt to the flame that was never meant to die. If the child stirs, does the first flame reignite, or does the sky crack under the weight of a debt no god can pay? The hunter's dream is a relic of stolen divinity. Gehrman's workshop hums with nightmare-forged steel, its walls echoing with a laughter that is not a sound but a wound. What child's voice lingers in its gears, trapped by the Astral Clocktower's bleeding spires? Lady Marika tends the tower's clockwork heart, her hands stained by the same ancient guilt that binds Gehrman to the moon presence. His pact is not with a god, but with a ghost, a shadow of the first flame's primordial heir, devoured by time. The dream's golden cage holds what Marika could not, a dynasty's forgotten seed. When the hunter stirs the child, will the flame's hunger be sated, or the sky split by a cry no starry vault can contain? The workshop's chimeric blades whisper of rebirth, yet each strike deepens the debt. Maria's clockwork ticks toward a reckoning. Gehrman's shadow grows, the first flame's heir sleeps, but its sleep is a storm. The child's laughter in the hunter's dream is no lullaby, it is a cry of recognition. A voice torn from the first flame's womb, echoing through the moon's hollow ribs. The third umbilical cord's script does not speak of a blessing, it speaks of a theft. The dream is not a gift, but a scara-sutured wound, where the moon presence buried its orphaned heir. Each time the cycle turns, the child is reborn into that golden cage, its spirit milked to fuel the eternal hunt. The moon's shadow play has always had a center, a missing tooth in the cosmic grin. The hunter's dream is the pivot. A pocket realm, yes, but also a cradle. The moon presence, ancient midwife of ruin, could not kill its own blood. So it built a labyrinth of stars to starve the heir's will, to make its captivity feel like destiny. What wakes when the tarnished shatters the dream? Not a god, not a weapon. A child who once held the first flame's core in its palm. Its eyes, if they open, will not weep for Marika's nights. They will burn with the memory of a mother's eclipse. The laughter fades, the cage's gold flakes to ash. The first flame's heir stirs and the dream's true architect trembles. The ritual was never about the hunt. It was about hushing a legacy the moon could not murder. Every golden stag, every spectral blade, every whispered riddle in the dream's halls, threads in a cocoon, spun to hold what the eclipse shard could not slay. The tarnished strike is not liberation, it is the third cord severing, and the world's firstborn breathes again. The Astral Clocktower's gears turn not to mark time, but to cage it. A single inscription, eroded by centuries, hints at Lady Marika's blade-renouncing vow, no warrior's epitaph, a guardian's confession. She walked from steel after fishing Hamlet's ashes, whispered her failure. The clocktower's spire holds more than the nightmare's breath. It holds a cradle, a child's laughter echoes through its chambers, not a melody, but a wound. The firstborn of flame, stolen at birth, lies in blood-forged slumber. Maria's blades were not surrendered. They were buried with the key to this prison. Every gear's grind is a heartbeat, every chime a chain tightened. What does the tarnished awaken when they sever the third cord? Not a tyrant, not a savior. A soul too old to weep, yet sharp as any blade. The clocktower's secret bleeds into the world, and Maria's ghost kneels in the gears. Her sacrifice was not to guard the nightmare, it was to guard the child it devoured. And now the cage's door creaks open. The creaking door lets in a cold wind. The tarnished walks not to save, but to unmake. The red moon above the night of the hunt is no accident. It is a wound, a scar. The moon presence kneels at its edge, whispering to the dark asterisk, not to the tarnished asterisk. The child's laughter in the dream is a trap, not a lullaby, a golden thread strung between two ages. To wake the world's firstborn is to crack the first flame's egg, and what hatches when the egg splits open. The hunter's dream is a gilded sarcophagus. Its walls are forged from the first oath, the first blood, the first breath stolen by time. The moon presence does not guard this tomb out of mercy, they guard it out of fear. Their red moon is a seal, a splinter in the sky, a promise they cannot fulfill. They wanted the child to sleep forever. The tarnished's footsteps are the sound of that wish unraveling. The dream's architecture repeats a truth Marika buried. The child is not dead, they are asterisk unseen asterisk. Their hands shape the poignards in your sheath. Their eyes are the twin moons above the lands between. To awaken them is to let the first flame burn not as light, but as hunger. The red moon trembles. The night of the hunt is not a ritual, it is a rehearsal. A dry run for the day the world's first child opens their eyes and finds you holding the key. The hunter's dream bears Marika's name, yet its purpose is not divine, a golden cage forged by the moon's cold hand. The child's laughter echoes a trap baited with memory. Why would a god of light design such a snare? Because the first child was never meant to wake. Marika's myth cloaks the moon presence's truth. The dream's beauty is a lie of containment. Each lullaby sung by its halls is a chain made sweet. The heir to the first flame sleeps, not as a prize, but as leverage. A sleeper whose awakening fractures the moon's design, the contradiction dissolves. Marika's name is a sigil, not a signature. The moon presence shaped this prison to bind what it feared most, a soul untainted by rot, a fire that could outlast its own. And you tarnished hold the key, to free a king, or bury a secret the stars would kill to keep. The hunter's dream is no sanctuary. It is a gilded cradle, forged by the moon's aching heart to cradle what it lost. The child within first breath of the first flame sleeps not as a king, but as kindling for an eternal pyre. The moon presence, hollowed by its vanished heir, wove this realm to sustain the hunt's unyielding wheel. Each cycle the dream rekindles the grief that birthed it, what of the laughter echoing through its halls? A ghost of infancy, stolen before the child could name the stars. They are no orphan of time, but heir to a throne eroded by ages. The hunt's teeth gnaw at their wrists, binding them to the cycle's throes. To wake them is to shatter the moon's fragile elegy. Does the tarnished break a cage or ignite a funeral? The first flame's forgotten heir sleeps in a tomb of light, their fate a pendulum between rebirth and oblivion. The dream's golden walls are not a gift, but a dirge composed by a mother curse who could not let go. The stars, ever watchful, tremble at the weight of this secret. You stand at the threshold. To awaken is to unmake. To leave is to let the dream's amber light smother the world's first cry. The moon's grief is a lock. Your choice is the key. The key turns, the lock screams. Does the flame shatter chains or birth new ones? The hunter's dream is no cradlate's gears grind the spine of the first flame. That laughter, a hydra's heartbeat. The child's cry was never meant to fade. It was meant to unmake what the great ones feared most, a heir who need not burn. The moon's grief is not for a lost sibling, it mourns a prison's core. Every cycle's ash falls on this truth. The nightmare does not consume, it waits . The workshop's golden light is a forge, shaping the firstborn into an anvil for Marika's hollow throne. To wake the child is to ask, what if the flame never died? What if the great one's lied about its death? Rage now, the tarnished stands at the rift. To sever the cycle is to let a god's infancy scream through the stars. To complete it is to crown the nightmare with a child's tears. The dream's gears do not pause, they accelerate . The first flame's heir is no pawn, they are the spark that could scorch the hunter's design. The great ones built their eternity on a stolen breath, the moon's sorrow is their silence. And you ask if the tarnished breaks free or becomes the cage's hinge. The dream is not a world. It is a wound, a scar where the first child's power was excised . The key turns, the lock screams. What have you always known to be flame might yet be a asterisk prison fire asterisk. What then? Do you trust the great ones? Do you trust the child? Do you trust the dream? And if this unsettles you, the next fire in the archive asks, what if the first flame was never meant to burn? The hunter's dream, a golden cage, not Marika's gift, but a prison for the world's firstborn. The moon presence tends it, a hollow cradle for the child it lost. That laughter, a ghost of what was stolen. When the tarnished wakes the child, does it free a king or birth a god? The archive smolders, choose your fire. What would you do? The hunter's dream gleams, a golden cage, but is it a chain or a key? The child's laughter echoes sweet, sharp, allure, a firstborn trapped by light, not grace. You ask why Marika's name clings to this prison, why the tarnished must wake what sleeps, suppose the seal breaks. Suppose the child stirs, does the flame burn brighter or consume? No oracle speaks truth here, only shadows whisper. And your reader must choose, do you break the cage,